Welcome to the one and only episode of Moving Forward with your host, Titus Fore, which is me. I will be your host and narrator today. Today, we are going to be discussing issues related to teacher pay. For reference, I am a student at Western Carolina University, and I am working towards a degree in English education. When considering future career paths, teaching called to me time and time again. The only thing, to me, that seemed as a push away was the pay. This made me wonder what teacher pay looked like in the classroom and if it had an effect on student morale and performance. Or perhaps it had an effect on the teacher's ability to want to teach. There were so many questions and factors that popped up when I was wondering about this topic. So, English 202 gave me the opportunity to dive more into these ideas and figure out the truth behind it. I have multiple family members, friends, and associates that I know who are teachers, so what I decided to conduct was a one-on-one interview with two different teachers. One of the teachers is a family friend of mine who has been teaching for over 25 years, and the other one is one of my closest friends who just began teaching this year. I wanted to find what an actual teacher's opinions and thoughts were on the topic of teacher pay in relation to student and teacher morale. After doing much research and finding many sources, I can conduct this one-on-one interview with both of them. This allowed me to get the inside opinion of a teacher and relating it back to my research that I've been doing for over the year. So for our first interview of the episode, I would like to introduce you to Sean Henderson.
My name's Sean Henderson. I teach at North Buncombe High School. This is my first year teaching, so I'm about 3 months in.
I firstly asked Sean, what are your overall thoughts or opinions on teacher pay?
I feel teacher pay, it depends on your life, how you live it. I think for me right now, it's plenty, but, I understand other arguments. People who have families with multiple kids, it's kind of hard to live off teacher pay alone, and that's not how it's always been, but, I think it could be better, it could be worse, but I'm somewhere in the middle.
I nextly asked Sean, do you believe that teacher pay affects your morale when teaching, or may it impact your students in any way?
For me, no. No, I don't teach to get the money, It's honestly, it's just a bonus. I do it because I love it. I would do it for $10 an hour, I just enjoy it, so the money wasn't the reason I got into it.
The next question I asked Sean was, what are your thoughts on the quote above from research, where data from 2018 shows that teachers are paid 22% less than peers who have the same level of college education and a similar number of years experience?
Yeah, I think it just shows where our society places its value, I honestly think I see a strong argument to why teachers deserve more money because they're the ones bringing up the next generation of Americans, teaching them everything they need to know. So, it's a little frustrating to hear that, but I think it just shows our society where we value where we value our stuff, and I feel like education probably should be a little higher up there, but how it goes, I guess.
Next question I asked Sean was, are current pay structures effective at attracting and retaining high-quality teachers?
Attracting, no. Retaining, kind of. I think with you getting more money as you go through, and then possibly getting your boards, getting some more money there, that's helpful. But when people see that $41,000, depending on your county, it could be like $38,000. Nobody wants, at least in college, being in college a couple months ago, nobody wants to hear that. I've had multiple conversations with people where they ask me, or they just act like I'm dirt poor on the poverty line, and that's not true, but that's how people view it. So nobody wants to teach because they're told their entire lives that teachers make no money, so what's the point of doing it?
Nextly, I asked Sean, have you ever thought about leaving the profession of teaching, and if not, what keeps you in it?
No, that would be sad if 2.5 months in I wanted to leave, but what keeps me in, the kids keep me in it. I love teaching kids, and I love the curriculum, so it was my dream job coming out of college, and I got it, and I'm glad to have it, and I'm blessed to have it. So I think I'd be squandering a really great opportunity if I left.
The last question I asked Sean was, does it shock you that North Carolina is the 43rd ranked state in the U.S. when it comes to teacher pay, and how does this make you feel?
No, just because it's what I've heard my entire life. When I told everybody I wanted to be a teacher, I know there's worse out there, there's better out there, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's a semi-livable wage, but it does frustrate me knowing we don't place enough value in our education and our educators, because when we pay less, that lowers the standard of who can work, who can be a teacher. So when there's a low standard for who's going to educate the youth, what does that say about how we think about our next generation? So I don't know. I think that frustrates me a little bit, but I think that I make enough money right now, but I could see how later it will be more difficult.
After conducting this interview with Sean Henderson, it's clear to see that as a young teacher, he is ambitious and encouraged in his career. There are many milestones and things, but a lot of the teachers are able to persevere through the idea of teacher pay and how they are not given enough through their love for the profession, as well as how much they care about the children. And that is very clear to see in Mr. Sean Henderson here. But now, on the converse, let us interview Miss Shanna Buckner, who is a veteran teacher of over 25 years.
My name is Shanna Buckner, and I have been teaching. This is my 27th year. All have been in kindergarten except for 1 year.
I asked Shanna the same questions I did for Sean, but I asked Shanna firstly, what are your overall thoughts or opinions on teacher pay?
My overall thoughts on teacher pay is I think it's good and I think it's bad. When I say I think it's good, I think, first of all, I don't think you can put a price on what I do every day. Teaching is definitely my calling, and so I can't imagine doing anything else. I do think that we don't get paid enough for all the hours that we spend and out-of-pocket money that I spend on my classroom. It just doesn't compare to the salary that I get. And it's frustrating because I have, with me teaching for, this is my 27th year, and so I literally have reached the end of the line as far as, I will never get another penny from North Carolina as far as my pay goes unless something changes. Since we have this step system now, 25 to 30 years gets the same, and above that gets the same amount of pay. So that's kind of frustrating and a little discouraging, honestly.
I then asked Shanna, do you believe that teacher pay affects your morale when teaching, or may it impact your students in any way?
That's a really good question. I can see how it definitely would affect teacher morale at times. For me, I honestly love what I do. I'm very passionate about the grade that I teach and about the young children that I get to see every day, and that's what motivates me. Of course, you have to have money to support your family and to do all the things that you need to do. So I definitely can see how that can affect teachers' motivation and their morale. But I try not to think too much about it. I just kind of do what I'm called to do and sort of just leave it there, I guess.
The next question I had for Shanna was, what are your thoughts on the quote from this research? Take the USA, where data from 2018 shows that teachers are paid 22% less than peers who have the same level of college education and a similar number of years experience.
Makes me so sad and frustrated, because I feel like people don't realize what we do in a day's time. They have no idea that the impact that good teachers have on students and our society in general. And so to think that someone who has the same education, the same number of years in college or whatever that I have, is making more money than me, and I doubt very seriously that their job is as important as teachers. So that makes me very sad, honestly.
The next question I asked Shanna was, are current pay structures effective at attracting and retaining high-quality teachers?
I'm kind of on the fence with that. I definitely think that they have started beginning teachers at a higher pay. So I think that is motivating for kids to go into education to begin with. but I also feel like it's kind of frustrating because we do that ladder system now, so you're paid, every 5 years. You're like on the same. You don't get an increase basically for every 5 years, and so when you're stuck in that for 5 whole years, most people are evaluated at least yearly in their jobs, and then based on their performance, then they're compensated for that, and that's just not the case in education. And it's just sad that it's that way, and I do think that affects people's their motivation to go into education to begin with, which is sad because we need good teachers.
I asked Shanna, have you ever thought about leaving the profession of teaching, and if not, what keeps you in it?
It's a really good question, and yes, I definitely have thought about leaving teaching several times actually, especially when you're having a bad day. You're like, dang, what am I doing? But nothing has ever come from those. It's just been random thoughts because I can't honestly imagine doing anything else with my life. I think I think about, ooh, I wouldn't want to sit like in an office all day and be around adults all day. Boo, like that's terrible. So I can't imagine what else I would do. I really just enjoyed my job that much. But yeah, definitely on the rougher days, sometimes you're like, man, I really wish I could just change and have a different profession, not be so stressed all the time, and see what happens. But that just has never happened for me personally.
My last question for Shanna was, does it shock you that North Carolina is the 43rd ranked state in the U.S. when it comes to teacher pay, and how does this make you feel?
Yeah, it infuriates me. It makes me feel definitely not seen, not heard. I don't know what is wrong with our state. I actually think about that. My husband and I talk about that a lot of times. I don't understand why it's such a hard concept that if you compensate people for their jobs, then they're motivated to do well, So I'm not sure why North Carolina can't understand that, and it's very frustrating to me. But they're not willing to give to our education system to better our society as a whole, to help our families be strong and to help us be a literate state. It's very frustrating, and it's just discouraging, honestly. But we do what we do, not for the money, but for the kids, and just trying to make a positive impact on them every day.
As you can tell, Shanna Buckner is a very dedicated teacher who is similar to Sean in the ways that she cares about her students and what matters to her. She, although, has gone through more experience and more years in the service of teaching, and so this has created more problems and more issues for her as it goes along. Concluding the research that I've done on this episode of Moving Forward, it is clear to see that teachers have a heart, and good quality teachers have a heart that goes beyond any dollar amount. But it is clear that teacher pay is an issue that probably won't go anywhere and will continue to be an issue that will continue to be fought for years to come in the North Carolina school system. Thank you all for joining me on this episode of Moving Forward. There probably will never be another episode, but I appreciate you tuning in for this one. This is Titus Fore, signing off.